So what I'd like to share, under the FCDO-funded System Strengthening Program, we are implementing together with WaterAid and with Ministry at the federal level, but then in 2 provinces in Madhes and Koshi. So we have, via the NMIS process and some additional data, we have status on FSM on 16 rural municipalities, 10 in Koshi and 6 in Madhes. So if we look at that, what we found out on the type of sanitation facility on unimproved open defecation, so 84% are improved, and open defecation is much higher than what we saw in the JMP. So yes, this is only from 16 palikas, but open defecation is 15%. Yeah? So it's either improved or open defecation. Next, please. So if we look at the emptying practice in the rural areas, what we see is that about 3/4 of the pits have not been emptied, and about 1/4 has been emptied, right? And if we look at from those that have not been emptied, so why not emptied? So the reason is that for majority the pit is not full, but also for 3% they have already dug a new pit in which they have diverted their wastewater, right? From those that where the pit is not full, and we try to see the age, we see that the majority, 66%, pits are more than 5 years old, and 34% are less than 5 years old. This means it's a ticking time bomb. We heard that in our earlier presentation as well, right? So then if we look at the pits that have been emptied, right, how has that been managed? We have a number of data, but the only bit that I'm sharing is that if you look at the green is it's safely disposed in situ, which means that it's covered, right? Safely disposed. But then the red, we've got 54% in the dark red, which is unsafe disposal in situ. It means they empty it out and they put it in a water body, or they put it in the open field. I'm sorry you can't really see the contrast. And then we've got 18%, the lighter red, which is it was collected off-site, taken off-site, but because there's zero treatment, it's also unsafe. So again, another ticking time bomb, that only 28% is safe disposal in situ, and the rest is unsafe either in situ or unsafe off-site. So the brief conclusions are open defecation is still an issue, and largely what we've seen, this is in the flood zones for the landless and for the poor who make temporary toilets that are no longer working, and then splitting households. Secondly, significant number of pits more than 5 years that are not emptied, so that's 66%. We do need to find out why. Are these failing systems? Because if you don't empty them timely, especially for example a septic tank, if it's not emptied, then the sludge eventually goes into your pit and then blocks the pit, or all the sludge is going into your drain, right? And we definitely know this is going to become unsafely managed soon, because it will need to be emptied, and then what, right? Where will it be taken? How will it be treated? And so from the households emptying the pits, most are managing unsafely in situ, as I pointed out. What does that mean? That means there needs to be very clear behavior change work, as well as linking to emptying services. So behavior change in the sense, if you want to empty your own pit, how do you do it safely? How do you do the occupational health and safety? How do you know where to put it, dig another pit and compost it, or bury it safely? Or you need to link it to emptying services, which of course should also be safe, right? And then there are unsafe emptying that we know, I didn't share the data here, where occupational health and safety is not being followed, and the transport is through open mechanisms. And so what do you need to do here? You need to do regulation of services, right? Finally, so there is no safe management or treatment of sludge in the rural areas. That is what I'd like your feedback on today. What we require is, we would like to support local governments in developing a manual where we are able to guide them how to invest and then construct and operate treatment facilities that are suitable, right? Earlier on in the ODF campaign, together with the department at that time, there was this toilet construction handbook for masons, which was really helpful in having, you know, very good constructed, well-constructed toilets. But what did this not address was what happens after the pit or after the septic tank, right?